Organized. Yes, it can be. It can be unstructured. So how many of you guys have seen the new Jurassic World movie? No?
Yeah,
You saw it.
Yes.
Ah. Was it a fun ride?
Yeah.
Thrilling ride? Yeah. Isn't there a new dinosaur? Like, new T-Rex? It's in every column I read. It must not be a very big spoiler.
You see that? It's commercials. It's big.
Big. It's a new attraction. I haven't seen it yet, but I know that. But anyway, it's big, so it's like a big T-Rex. Okay. So what are some of the key characteristics of big data? We found two of them. I think I'll list 8 of them here. So one, you can have unstructured data. That. It kind of goes with this relational database. This is structured data. If you ever wondered what structured data looks like, this is it. Okay? Tables, columns, relational database. Unstructured data, free-form text, images, video, audio, whatever else. Okay. Anything else that you guys think? I mean, characterizes big data? I know, that's why it's so mysterious, right? It's called big data, but what's the big deal about lots of data? Alright, let's see. Big. What do you think the next one is? Data? No. Alright, there are 4 V's, 3 V's plus 1, that people always bring up when talking about big data. So it's worth hearing this once, okay? Because you'll hear it again in any big data presentation. 99% of big data presentations will talk about the 4 V's. So now once you've heard it from me, you go, oh, okay, yeah, I heard this. You can tune out. You know how when you are listening to presentations, like you only have an attention span of like a couple minutes, and then you have to tune out, and then you tune back in. So here you can tune out next time you hear it. All right. So volume, yeah, okay, that goes back to big and extensive. So there's a lot of data. I mean, what's a lot of data? Let's get you guys, what am I trying to say? Some of you guys have no sense of how big data is. You know, is a megabyte a lot? Is a kilobyte a lot? Is a megabyte more than a kilobyte? I mean, some of you may not know this. Okay? Yeah, so you start with a bit. A bit is just like the smallest unit. It's just a 0 or a 1. Very small. That's, transistors are work on this on-off idea. You know, you hear about computers with billions of transistors. They may think each turn on and off 0 or 1, and the more you have, the faster you can go. I guess I'm not like a computer engineer. The number of transistors used to be like the metric, like the number of transistors in a radio or whatever. We don't talk that way anymore. Anyway, 1 bit, 1 transistor. What 8 bits is byte. And 1,000 bytes, kilobyte. And 1,000,000 bytes, a megabyte. And it's always roughly a million. It's not actually 1,000 bytes, it's actually 1,024. Remember my lucky number? Did I tell you? 1,024. And that's easy because it's always exponential in size, right? So 2 to the 10. So that's a kilobyte. Megabyte, same thing, 1,024 kilobytes. Okay, so after megabyte comes gigabyte. That'd be 1,000,000 megabytes. Now, is a gigabyte a lot? I mean, well, big. It's a relative word, so it's like, no matter what I say, you can do it. Depends. What can you put on a gigabyte? A lot of songs? I mean, not too much, honestly. Each song, let's say, is, well, gigabyte's not a million, it's 1,000. So let's say 200 songs that are really high quality, 5 minutes each. 200, 300 songs in a gig. you guys, don't be fooled, all right? You've heard of gigabytes, but you might have also heard of gigabits and megabits. When do you hear about gigabits and megabits?
Isn't that when you're talking about speed, like per second?
But you could also talk about megabytes. But you're right, that's when it's used, but who uses it? When do you hear about it? When you're talking about like download speeds and upload speeds, you're looking at your internet service provider. Oh yeah, 50 megabits per second. Okay? It's not a megabyte. You have to divide by 8. Take a megabyte, divide by 8, and you get a megabit. So it's not megabytes. So when you're thinking, wow, 50 megabits, I should be able to download. You're in your head, like, wow, 50 megabytes per second, that's a lot. I'll download a gigabyte in 20 seconds. No, not so. Divide by 8, right? So 50 megabits is actually only less than 7 megabytes. Okay. Volume. Okay, gigabytes. What's after a gigabyte? A terabyte. Now is that a big? 1,000 gigabytes. Pretty big, right? It's much bigger. I mean, usually, I just bought a Macintosh computer for my home, and it had a terabyte hard drive space. Okay. So, and it holds a lot of pictures. It's good enough. It's all we need. But a terabyte of data, is that a lot of data? A terabyte of this type of stuff, numbers and letters, that's a lot of data. That's a crap load of data. But it's still not as big as it used to be. 10 years ago, terabyte of data was a ton. Nowadays, wow. What's after terabyte?
Petabyte?
Petabyte. Yes. Petabyte. Remember that. Child. It's not petabyte is a lot of it. That's a lot. I don't have a petabyte of space on my computer. That's like 1,000 terabytes. Now, a petabyte's a lot. Small companies don't need that much space. And if you're trying to process a petabyte of data, if you're trying to hold a petabyte in a database, things start breaking down. Petabytes. Like I think they'll say something like Walmart will have 2 new petabytes a day. I don't know. So yeah, petabytes are big. I mean that's big data. Petabyte. What comes after that? Petabyte.
Dinobyte?
Is it?
Or zettabyte?
Exabyte. He's looking exabyte. So that's 1,000 petabytes. That's tons of data. What's after that? Zettabyte? Wait, what's after Zeta? Yottabyte? So I think they were saying the new data center for the NSA that they built in Utah has like a few yottabytes of space. And I think it can hold everything. All data that exists. I don't know. You read something in a magazine article and it's trying to have headlines and interesting things to sell. Right? But yeah, the yottabyte is like, it'll blow your mind if you try to think about how much data that is, like all data. Okay, so volume, variety of data. Okay, usually when data was gathered, we used to just gather lots of businesses transactional data. Nowadays, because of the internet, because of mobile devices, mainly those two sources, data is just being collected at such a fast rate. Think about it. Every time you walk, every second, you're giving your location to cell phone towers. So every time there's any text on the web, anytime you click on something on the web, I mean, data is just generated at such a fast pace. And the variety of data is amazing. Video, like we were saying, all types of unstructured data. So that's another characteristic of big data. Velocity of data, so you think about the same type of data and how fast it's being recorded, like repeatedly recorded over and over and over again. So the data is just got a high velocity nowadays, repeated measurements, and the veracity of data. This has to do with knowing that your data is reliable or not. So knowing where your data comes from. So when you're working with big data, and it's like any other type of data, it's called the progeny of your data, where your data comes from. So you have to know whether your data is accurate or not. So these are the three B's associated with big data. Okay? So big data, the reason there's so much data is because now it's collected automatically. We went from hiring interns to enter data into databases to collecting almost all of our data. And based on time series means that you have that repeated measurements. Okay. So if you think about the weather, and you're measuring the weather every minute or whatever, that's a time series. We talked about this, the multiple data types, okay, and the ability to analyze multiple data types together. Data can be unstructured, so no longer is data stored only in a relational database. So there are new types of relational databases. I haven't taken a class on it yet, but there's this one called NoSQL. Okay? It doesn't use SQL to access data. So all you need to know for now, until you take a course in big data, is these huge amounts of data will break a relational database. Okay? So they've had to find other ways to structure data so it can be analyzed. Okay, so one of the important ideas behind big data is we're now doing real-time analyses. As soon as the data come in, we analyze it and have continuous stream of results that we're looking at. Also, we're taking in data from disparate databases. Like I'm telling you guys, we take data from one organization and then combine it with data from another organization. This is that idea. You're taking disparate databases and getting a bigger picture of an idea. Okay? Also, we no longer eliminate outliers, right? We look for outliers and try to find out what they mean. So there's this conflict between whether statistics are useful or not. Why do we do statistics? Or what do statistics do? The idea is you can't ever get a whole population's worth of data, right? So you take a sample. The sample is a random sample, so it's representative of the whole population. Then you do statistics and you infer the results to the whole population. You say this is probably how the whole population is based on this sample. Well, now we can analyze populations of data. We have a way to store it. We have a way to analyze in real time. Why are we doing statistics? Why don't we just look at the reality of how things are? So this one guy is saying, I don't need to know this whole thing about doing experiments to find causation. Why do things happen? Who cares? Correlation is enough. If you know that this happens when this happens, then that's all you need to know to make a good decision. Just do more of this if you want that to happen. So with populations of data, inferential statistics are minimized. At least that's one argument. And you just use the whole population, do a simple correlation, and you have all the information you need. Okay, that's not true, but it's the basis of some arguments. Okay. Let's not complete sentence. Okay. So with big data, there is greater value by connecting multiple databases and different types of data, okay? So